I'm revisiting one of my favorite patterns. I'm wearing it right now. My dress form back there has it on, and I'm going to make it again. It's this. It's Burda 6590. This literally is like an hour project. It's 3 pieces, 4 pieces if you include the neckband. Not much to it, but it's super cute, flattering, easy to wear, easy to change the way it looks. And the fabric I'm going to be using is this. I shopped my stash. Can you see this? It's gorgeous. This is a poly cotton blend. It feels like a velveteen. It's a knit, and it's gorgeous. It's like an emerald green. I just love it. I have a ton of it. I was really debating whether or not to make it out of this, but I have a special reason for using this fabric. One is it's super warm and lovely, and 2, it's for someone else. So I actually think I'm going to make 2. We end up with matching shirts because I think I'm going to want it for me too. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it out today for someone else. I'm using my favorite pattern, so that's what I'm going to go do next. Let me talk to you about cutting out something like this. This fabric has a nap. A nap means that there's a texture that's raised, and depending on the way you look at the fabric, it can actually change the way the fabric appears to you. So I'm going to hold it up. Not that end though, that end's crinkly. I'm going to hold it up like this. So if I hold up this fabric, see how it looks? It's a velvet, but if I flip it over and hold it the opposite direction, it can look very different. And things that are velvety, there we go. Things that are velvety can look light or dark depending on the direction of the nap. So when you're cutting something with nap, you do not want to flip your pattern pieces from top to bottom. You always want the top to stay the same and the bottom to stay the same for the entire cutting. Otherwise, you'll end up with parts of your fabric looking very different. The direction of the nap will just lay differently, and it will be obvious. So if your pattern says with or without nap, sometimes it will say that for cutting. It'll have you buy more fabric for the nap. This one does not. But you need to watch for that if you're going to use a fabric that has nap, which is mostly your velvets, velveteens, velours, and a lot of other fabrics that have sort of a raised texture, like that's cut or clipped like a terry cloth, or some of the toweling, some of those types of fabrics. So this is very straightforward cutting out, so I'm not going to show you the cutting. I'm going to mostly be serging this together with a little bit of on the sewing machine, but really super fast and easy and cute. So I'm going to go cut out real quick, and then I'll come back and show you the pinning together. 5 minutes later, I'm cut out, and the pattern is literally a front pattern piece and a back pattern piece cut on a fold. So I'm going to lay those on top of each other now. This is the wrong side of my fabric. This is the right side. Put them together, right sides. Now I'm working with the nappy fabric, and it's pretty wrinkly. Can you see the wrinkles in it? And you don't want to just rush over to your ironing board and press it out like you normally would. Because of the nap, you can press in the design of your iron right into the fabric, and it will be permanent. So we don't want that. You actually, I'm going to actually wash and dry this is the way I'm going to handle it. But if I wanted to press it, the best way would be to take a scrap of my fabric and put nap to nap, and then press on the scrap of fabric, and that protects it. Sometimes people will just use like a really heavy towel. You can even buy special press cloths just for this sort of thing. And I need to do a video on pressing designs into your velvets because it's pretty. You can press in like leaves or any kind of design. You can make all kinds of interesting things with nappy fabrics like this. So I'm just lining these up. The back is bigger than the front. See how there's extra left over. So when you lay them on top of each other, it's not going to be exact. You're going to have to make them meet at the seam like that. But I'm just going to pin it's top of shoulder and underarm, and I'm going to pin those and serge that really quickly, and then I'll come back and show you how it looks after I'm through pinning. You can see the front neckline, right sides together. So here's your sleeve down, and we open at the top and the bottom, open at the neck and at the bottom. And then I went ahead and I pinned the band. There's a band that goes around the bottom. And because I'm using a directional nappy fabric that is making my nose itch. If you ever worked with velvet, velveteen, anything like that, it lints everywhere and you end up blowing your nose and the lint comes out, and it's in you're gonna have to really clean your machines when you're done with this and sweep the floor, and your scissors will have the fuzz on. It's just the joy of working with something like this. But I marked my top so I don't get my band met backwards when I go to put it on and end up with a lighter looking band than the shirt or a darker looking band than the shirt, so that the directions stay the same. So I've pinned it together on its little sides. The band isn't cut on the fold. It's actually a front and a back, though they're identical. And you're just going to sew them together on the sides. And then you have one little neckband piece that's a circle. And you can see knit just loves to roll, but I've gone ahead and just sewn it. So now I have my neck circle. So all I'm going to do is sit at my serger. I'm going to sew up both pieces of my band. And I'm going to sew my shoulders and my side seams. And then I'll come back and show you how I pin on the band and the neckline. We're almost done after that. I will go ahead while I'm sitting at the serger. Once I've serged the top together, before I put any bands on, I'm going to go ahead and go around the sleeve edge too, because the sleeve is just turned up and top stitched. So I'm going to go ahead and get that part done. And then I'll be back in a few minutes. This is such a fast pattern. I'm just telling you. And it's so cute when you're done, I think it's very flattering when you're done. All sewn. I've got my little edge finished on the sleeve. That fabric is so pretty. Look at that emerald color. And this is how it looks. Pretty straightforward and simple. So now I'm going to come to the little band that goes at the waist. And I have this white pin. Hopefully I didn't knock it out. Here he is. Here's this little white pin. This is letting me know this is the top. This is the part I want to attach, but this actually folds in half. So I'm going to fold this in half. Here's my seam. I always start at the seam. I just think it's easier. And I'm folding it wrong sides together, right sides out. And this is a knit, so see it's rolling like crazy. I'm going to pin this up, pin my band up in half like this, from side seam to side seam first. So now that I've done that, I want to find my front and my center front and my center back. So I'm just going to pull it like this, side seam on top of side seam. That's the easiest way to do it. I got to unroll it first though. It's just rolling, rolling, rolling. If you're really having problems with rolling, before you mark it or anything, just lay it on top of each other, pin it really good, and run a basting stitch. And that will help you. Okay, so now I'm going to pin it again, so that I can find my center front. This is my center front, and this is the outside. This is the side that I want to attach. So this is my right side. And now I'm going to find my center back. Do the same thing. Look at how it's rolling. And then I'm going to go ahead and mark my little neckband while I'm at it. Mark its center front and center back. Now this is ready to be sewn on. So once I've done that, I'm going to go to my shirt at the waist down here, and it's the same with the cross down at the bottom. The place that's most different is the neck and in the sleeve a little bit. The sleeve is longer in the back, gives you some elbow room, and then the neck dips down a little in the front, so you can tell the front from the back. But I'm going to just line up my side seams again like I did before, pull it forward, and get the center of this panel, do the same for the other, and then I have a center front and a center back. Very easy, so that when I go to put them to each other, it's very match side seam to side seam, center front pin to center front pin, center back pin to center back pin, and stitch it around. I've said this before if you've seen my other videos, quartering is so important, so that's what I've just done. Now I have four. I have each side seam in my front and my back. Now I'm going to find my pin, my center front pin, and this little orange bird is the center front of my shirt, and I'm just going to put them on top of each other like so and pin them to each other. And I'm going to put quite a few pins on this because of the fact that it's rolling so much, just to keep it flat. Then I'm going to come and pin all my side seams together, and then I'm going to come back in between, and the shirt should be a little fuller than the band. I'll hold it. Let me hold it this way. So here's the band is in the back, the shirt is in the front, and see how it hangs down just a little bit. So you're going to actually stretch your band just a tiny bit to make those meet, and that just helps give you the look that you want to make the band go around the hips nicely. So I'm just going to keep pinning this, and I'm going to go ahead and take my little neckband and I'm going to pin it on too. Here's my neckband. Whenever I have a neckband like this, it's a circle. Just a reminder, you want to put the seam either in the center back or match it on the shoulder seam so that it doesn't end up somewhere in the front. You never want to see the seam in the front of your garment. So I'm going to put the seam on a shoulder seam, and then I'm going to quarter it for my center front and center back, and go ahead and pin that on too so that I can just sew both of them on at the same time. And then my shirt is done other than hemming the sleeve. Back in a minute. Just going to show you how it looks pinned real quick before I sew it. So here's the neckline, the little thing all pinned around, and then here's the band at the bottom. So I'm just going to sew that circle, and the shirt will be done, and we'll put the little turn up the hem. I was considering, because of who I'm making this for, you can kind of see how the sleeve is a little bit loose, and I was thinking about I could turn it up and put a little elastic in there just to make it maybe a little fit a little closer. It might be more appropriate for them, but I think I'm going to leave it the way it is, and if they try it on and they decide they would prefer to have elastic in it, I could always go back and put a little elastic inside. So I'll be back and it will be done. We're all done. It's so cute. So I'm just going to show you 3 versions. It's the exact same shirt with just different fabrications. This is an actual pink sweater sparkle knit that this is made out of. This one looks like a cable knit, but it's got a real open weave, this one. And then here's the new one. And I'm going to put it on the dress form real quick. It's all finished. Look at how pretty it is. You can see the band at the bottom. I love this fabric. I did do a quick wash and dry after the garment was complete because it already rolled like crazy and I didn't need more rolling issues. But this is it. Super fast and simple. Very fun and easy little top to wear. You can really change up how it looks according to the fabrics that you choose. So I highly recommend this fun Burda pattern. It's called Burda Young. I'm not young, but it's certainly a great little top, and you can see how different it looks in like this velour or the sweater knit or this little fine cable knit. So fun little top.